Hey everybody, it's Brett, and welcome back to my channel. I was just laughing because when we started, I noticed that the side of my hair was sticking up and it looks like somebody shot me. And 2 weeks ago, I went to get my hair cut. And so I was sitting in the chair with this woman that was cutting my hair, and she was talking about length. And she's like, well, I can't go too short with your hair because it's really fine and it won't lay flat. And it was just this horrifying moment of like, thank you. I know it's thin. I'm old. Anyway, thanks for being here. So today I want to talk May wrap up. I had 8 books that I want to discuss with you today. And then what I'm going to do later in this week is I'm going to do two-parter. I'm going to do a two-parter. What that is going to be is summer reading that I want to get to. This is not a comprehensive summer reading list by any stretch of the imagination, and there's plenty of places you can go for that. And I will maybe try to cull some of those together to tell you where you should go. This is more stuff that I really hope to get to over the next couple months. And this is going to supersede me doing a regular what I hope to read in June or what I hope to read in July. Partially because there's so much coming out, it's completely overwhelming. Partially also because I looked at what I said I was going to try to read in May, and I didn't stick to much of any of it. There's like half of it I didn't even get to. So it would be just folly for me to get up here and say, this is what I want to read for June, and probably won't happen. So instead, I'm going to talk about books that I want to read over the summer. I'm going to try to break it down into 2 different videos so it's not 6 hours long. The first one will encompass the beginning part of the summer and then some things for later. All right. So on to this month. I had a really wonderful month. I will say out of these books I read, 5 of them were stuff that I had read specifically for the Behind the Stack podcast. And if any of you are on Instagram, you could look at my Instagram post from a few days ago, and it will literally show you all the people that are coming on the podcast in June. It's going to be a massive month, 2 episodes a week through the entire month. So you really are getting a preview of most of those authors right now, kicking off on Tuesday. So let me start with one of the ones that is not on the podcast. He's on everybody else's show. That is Ocean Vongs, The Emperor of Gladness. So look, it's a beautiful book about found family and incredible writing. The opening of this book is so unbelievably beautiful and so well written, as was the last 10 pages of this thing. It was just breathtaking. And I really, really liked it. I didn't flip out the way some people have, but it's not the fault of the book. I think I listened to this on audio, and that's how I started it, just trying to be able to keep up with all these books. And this is one that I made the wrong decision to listen to this. And so I got a large part of it listened to on one kind of trip. And then I went back into the book. I wish I would have gone into the book right from the beginning because it just landed differently. And I felt like there was a lot of his writing that's absolutely exquisite that when it's being read at 2.0, it's just not going to have the same kind of landing. So I don't know. This is something that I think maybe someday, not try it again, but read it again, because I do think it's really beautiful and it's really moving. It just wasn't exactly the home run that it was for so many other people. But again, I don't think it's the book's fault. I think it was the choice to devote a lot of it to the audio. So, all right, then V. Schwab's Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This is one of my guests on the Behind the Stack podcast, which I was so excited about. I loved this. Sapphic vampires, who are just totally crazy. 3 women spanning hundreds of years. She talks about how it's an homage to Anne Rice and her vampire series, and it absolutely is. It absolutely gives you those vibes. And if you're a fan of Anne Rice novels, you will absolutely love this. I was with it through the whole thing. I just loved it. I thought it was very much a page turner. Loved these characters. If I had any any kind of bump on any of it. The one woman who is in the most contemporary story, I could have lived with her a little bit longer and had her more fleshed out. But that also just speaks to the book itself, because I really didn't want this to end. And I thought, I need another one of these. So really, really, really like this. Another one of my guests, Death at the Whiteart by Chris Chibnall. Chris Chibnall was the creator of the television show Broadchurch that was on Netflix, and I think it was on BBC One. It starred a then very young Olivia Colman and even younger Jonathan Bailey. If you like that series, you're going to love this. So this is about a very small town and a police detective who is driving one night on the road and comes across the body of a man who is naked and tied to a chair and has a pair of antlers attached to his head. So the whole story is about all the people who live in this community. Everyone's a suspect, and really, really, really fun. I will also add the audio of this is read, which I haven't heard yet, but I desperately want to now. It's read by Jessica Gunning, who, if any of you saw Baby Reindeer, you'll know who Jessica Gunning is. And apparently she does an incredible job. It's the first time she ever read a book on tape. So this will be coming out, I believe, June 10th. This comes out June 10th, but it's really, really, really fun. All right. Then The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I think I had spoken about this on my last video because I listened to this on audio, which was incredible, such a treat. And this first came to my attention basically just because of the cover. I'd never read anything by Joe Abercrombie. I'm certainly going to read his stuff now, but just like take a look at the inside boards of this thing. So beautiful. This book is insane, and I loved it so much. It is about set in, some time, like and in some land that resembles very much like Europe. And it is about a young girl who's living on the streets, but she has a scar on her, I believe it's her neck, that everyone believes she is the missing princess and the heir to this throne. So the Pope gathers a group of effectively monsters, not effectively, they are monsters, together to be her escorts. There is a vampire, a werewolf, a necromancer. There's also a bishop and a priest and a goblin, as well as another man who is a knight who is immortal. And they set out to take her to the throne. And what happens? It is so good. It is so funny. It reminds me of times of The Boys, the Amazon series, because it's very bloody. The battles are very bloody, but the characters are so good, and these monsters are so hilarious, and the way they interact with each other, and all of them are so well drawn. It's also like I said, fantastic audiobook. But it's been a while since I read, I love Stephen King, but I used to really be into all these kind of supernatural leaning books and fantasy sci-fi, and it just made me realize how much I love them. And this is like chef's kiss, so good. All right. This next book is my favorite of the month, and it will be my first guest in June on the podcast. He is Lucas Shaeffer. The book is The Slip. This thing is fan-fucking-tastic. I really think this will probably be one of my top books of the year. They talk about for fans of Nathan Hill and fans of Jonathan Franzen, and I don't think those are incorrect comps. This is set in Austin, Texas, about a Jewish high school kid who gets into a fight at school, and so his mother sends him to live with her brother for the summer to kind of shape up. And he's not a bad kid, he just got in a fight. At any rate, the uncle goes to a boxing gym every week to work out, and he begins to take his nephew with him. And the nephew meets one of the trainers, who is a Haitian man who works as a manager in a retirement community. But the two of them become friends, and he takes this kid kind of under his wing. So a lot of this book is a flashback because the kid goes missing, and there's never been any trace of him. And years later, his uncle put up money to try to reopen this case to see if they can find what happened to him. So the book is the exploration and the story of what happened to the kid. And it's unbelievable. It is so good. It is such a great character piece. He is making huge swings here, and I thought it was fantastic. So there you go. All right. Another book out this month and another guest on Behind the Stack, Jess Walters, So Far Gone. I love Jess Walters. I love that I got the chance to sit down and talk to him. Another fantastic book. This one is about a man who lives up near Spokane, Washington in the woods, who's gone off the grid after having a kind of large fight with his ex-wife and daughter and her daughter's new husband. This is after the first election of Donald Trump. And her daughter has married this kind of Trumper guy. And he just cannot believe that this is who his daughter married. So he is in his cabin in the woods one day when there's a knock at the door, and there's two children standing there who are about 8 or 9 years old with a woman. And he says, "Are you guys selling Girl Scout cookies? What's going on?" And the woman's like, "These are your grandchildren." And their mom is missing. So he has to come kind of onto the grid again to find his daughter. And it's the story of what happens. Really, really good. It's not very long, so it's a quick read. But again, great character piece, really wonderful storytelling. Jess Walters is just, he's so incredibly gifted, and this is a great one as well. So there you go. Then I just finished this last night, which is There Are Reasons for This by Nini Berndt. And thank you to Tin House for this. This is like a one-day read to get the full effects. I mean, let me just say, like, I didn't read it in one day, but I wish I would have. I love this. It's a debut novel, crazy premise. It's about a young woman named Lucy, and it's set in some form of the future. We know that stuff is really effed up out in the environment. There's a atmospheric reading that's constantly going on, telling people to stay indoors. The weather is bad. Anyway, she moves into an apartment across the hall from her deceased brother's girlfriend. Now, the girlfriend, whose name is Helen, has no idea who this woman is. She just thinks she's her neighbor. But Lucy is kind of obsessed with Helen. And it's what happens. A lot of the book takes place in flashback, and we get to see the deceased brother Mikey and his relationship with Helen, also his relationship with Lucy, and how one informs the other, and how it comes into the present day. It is really good. It completely builds. Oh my God. And it's like a train wreck, but so captures kind of envy and longing and lust in such an amazing way. It reminded me a little bit tonally of Jelle van der Wouden's The Safe Keep, but really, really, really terrific debut. This comes out June 3rd. And then finally, speaking of crazy, It's Not the End of the World by Jonathan Parks-Ramage. This comes out this week as well, June 3rd. Banana Pants. This is about a gay couple who it's the day of their baby shower that they are determined to have, despite what seems to be an apocalypse happening at the present moment. It is insane and crazy and really violent. It feels very much like, if any of you are familiar with the filmmaker Greg Araki, it feels like something Greg Araki would make. But at its heart, it's a really interesting examination of capitalism and privilege and wealth, just notched up to the nth degree. I don't want to say too much about it because, again, this is a book that the fun of it is the discovery. It's really funny. It's very shocking, but just a truly entertaining read and a good one to dive into pride for. So there you go. All right, so those are the 8 books for May. Let me know what you think, if you've read any of these, if you're planning to read any of these. Again, check out my post over on Instagram regarding the month of June, and you can see the other 3 or at least 2 of the other people that will be coming on the podcast. I'm really excited about it. And I will be back either later this week or at the beginning of the following with my first part of summer reads that I hope to get to. So I hope you're all having a great day. Happy June. Happy Pride for all of you who celebrate. And I'll see you soon.